But the point is to explain the difference between not permissible and unclean. Hebrews, on the other hand, as God's people by birth, are permissible. And they lay inside the system. Food's the same. The food list, as found in Leviticus 11, has nothing to do with clean and unclean. It only has to do with what is permissible and not permissible for food. Once something is identified as permissible, now the laws of clean and unclean can come into play. Any permissible thing always begins in a state of ritual cleanness. However, a permissible thing can be rendered not usable for its purpose, made unclean, made tameh, through improper handling or a few other factors. So, for instance, beef. Beef is a permissible food for Israel. In its natural state, this permissible food is clean, it can be eaten. However, if the cow were not to be butchered correctly, or if too much blood was allowed to remain in its meat, or should the meat be left exposed and an unclean mouse tromps around all over it, then the beef becomes unclean. Therefore, not usable. Pig, on the other hand, is inherently not permissible as food in the first place. So, there's no such thing as something being not permissible, but clean. Not permissible automatically excludes its use. So unclean or clean doesn't even apply. So in verse 10, Israel, a permissible people, in a matter of speaking, and therefore Israel in its natural state is ritually clean, can, for any number of reasons, become ritually defiled, unclean. One of the ways an Israelite can become unclean is to commit a sin against God. What I call a wash and a wait, that is being immersed in water and then a certain prescribed amount of time passes, this can cleanse the unclean condition of that permissible person. And this, by the way, is separate from atonement. However, a Gentile non-believer cannot do this. Why? Because they're not a member of the permissible people. They can't be defiled because clean and unclean only apply to that which is permissible, and they're not. So,